Ah, boy. Let's see. How's that now? Is it better? Okay, everyone's still saying no sound. I don't understand why there's no sound. How about now? You guys hear me now? There we go. Yeah, there you go. So let's start that again. Let's do it this way. Good morning, Long Island. We'll start it again. That was just to make sure that everybody in the chat was making sure that everybody in the chat is on their toes. Good morning, Long Island. We got big elections to go tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. The first day of November, November 1st, 2021. We are almost done with the year of 2021. Can you believe it? Can you believe a year ago today the funny business happened that defined the next 11 months that this country would have to go through? Could you just imagine that? It's been a year now since Election Day last year. Isn't that crazy? But welcome back. Welcome. It's a good Monday morning. We are fresh off of a fun weekend that just took place. I know there was a lot of rain and some nasty weather, and it wasn't great. We couldn't do our rally. But there was a lot of work that was done this weekend, and there was a lot of and also we'll give a shout out. Give a shout out to someone in a second. But it's been a very good couple days, very good couple of weeks. We are extremely excited to see how it goes tomorrow on Election Day. Extremely excited to see how it goes tomorrow on Election Day in our local elections in Suffolk County. You know, we got some early indicators. I've been talking to some people. They look good. Things are looking pretty decent now in Suffolk County, but we need everybody to get out and vote. Presidential turnout would be great from Suffolk County. I don't know if we're going to get that, but we need everybody here, Suffolk County, Long Island, to get out and vote. You hear me? Tomorrow. Tomorrow is November 2nd. It is Election Day, local elections. All politics is local. So we need you guys to get out and vote tomorrow. It's a very important day, as we know. You know, if we win a couple of the races that we really wanted to win, or that we want to win here, we can take back the Suffolk County legislature and have a Republican majority on the Suffolk County legislature. If we put a district attorney and we elect a district attorney like Ray Tierney in Suffolk County, we will have responsible prosecutions and a responsible rule of law here in our county. You know, and when you think about where we are now with a DA who's been incompetent, with a DA who has ruled favorably for his people, with a DA who has very little, if any, relevant experience, and then you can go with somebody like Ray Tierney, who joined us just a week ago today, and explained how he would be your DA, explained the changes that he would make. He explained why he's a better choice than Tim Sini. And other than the fact that Ray is actually a really cool guy, if you get to know him, he's going to bring experience. He's going to bring pedigree. He's going to bring law and order, and reasonable. He's got a grasp on reality that most of the other folks, the Democrats, don't really have. And so he will bring that to Suffolk County and change Suffolk County for the better. So get out and vote for Ray Tierney. District 7. Early indicators in District 7. Just from chatter. You know, Dominic Thorne, I'll tell you right now, your next legislator out in District 7. I'm not making any calls. I'm just saying he's got a really good shot. And obviously, Dom can't do it by himself. So if you're out there in Legislative District 7 and you're watching now, get out and vote tomorrow. Get out and vote tomorrow. If you haven't voted already for Dominic Thorne, we win his seat, we could take back the Suffolk County legislature. And then we would be taking out a guy like Rob Calarco, a Cuomo lapdog, a Cuomo suckling, if you want to call him that, seen with Andrew Cuomo 3 weeks before Andrew Cuomo's resignation. What's he doing? What's he doing with Cuomo? 3 weeks before Andrew Cuomo resigned. Is that the guy you want? Is that the guy you want on the legislature in Suffolk County? Rob Calarco? I don't think so. District 7, Dominic Thorne. Things are looking good right now. And we need everybody to come out and participate tomorrow on Election Day. And remember to vote no. Remember to vote absolutely not. Remember to vote hell no. Hell no. To the ballot propositions that are on here one more time. And I love to share this with you. We're going to share this up there again, because if you don't flip your ballots over tomorrow and vote no on this stuff, vote no on Proposition 1, which is a redistricting amendment. Vote no on Proposition 3, which is same-day voter registration. That's a disaster. Vote no on Proposition 4, which is no excuse absentee voting. That will inundate our elections with phony mail-in ballots. We've seen that before. And that was only a year ago. So vote no tomorrow. If you're early voting, I don't think there's any early voting today, but vote no tomorrow. Propositions 1, 3, and 4. Okay, on the back of the ballot. And here's the rest of the show today. We're going to motivate you. We're going to motivate you. We're going to show you why more of the same is not acceptable. I like that slogan. You guys like that? More of the same is not acceptable. How do you feel about that, chat? How are we doing this morning? More of the same is not acceptable. I think that's the way I want to go here. And think about it now. What have we seen on a national level over the last 10 months, 9 months, 10 months, right? What have we seen? We've seen them lie. We've seen them move the goalposts. We've seen them make up stories. Look what happened to Glenn. Did you guys hear what happened to Glenn Youngkin over the weekend in Virginia? This was either Friday or Saturday. Did you hear about this? This was Friday, I believe. Did you hear about this Glenn Youngkin scenario over in Virginia? Anybody in the chat hear about that? As a question here, do you believe elections in New York will be free and fair? I believe the elections are what they are right now. And if I tell people not to vote because I have questions about the fairness, we can't win. How about that? I'm all for election integrity. But in order to win an election, you have to vote in an election, even if it's a rigged election. You can't win a rigged election by not voting. You can overwhelm the rigging. So enough of the questions about should I vote because my vote counts or doesn't count. You have to win. You have to play to win. Herman Edwards, it wasn't one of my favorite coaches of this football team, but he says it great. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. You can't talk about elections, talk about how unfair they are, talk about how rigged they are, and then not vote in them. Well, because they're rigged. What if you're wrong? Because you know as well as I know. You don't have rock solid proof, nor do I, that these elections are absolutely rigged. I'm sorry. But I know, I'm not just talking to one person. I'm talking to a large group of people at this point. It's only because I got this question in the chat. So don't take it personally. I'm not singling you out. I'm explaining where I'm coming from again on this issue because I get questioned a lot on this issue. So I'm not singling anybody out. I have no hard feelings against anybody. You want to make your own decision on when you're voting, you make your own decision. Don't take it personally, please. I really am not. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to humiliate anybody. I'm not trying to single anyone out. If you have questions about the election system, if you have questions about the fairness of the election, that's fine. That's valid. You're allowed to have those questions. I have questions too. The short-term answer, though, is to vote. You cannot win an election if you don't vote in the election. even if the election is rigged against you. If you start off and you're down 500 to 0 and you continue to put up a 0, you can't win. But if you overwhelm the system, if you vote like hell, you get your friends to vote like hell, maybe the anticipated what they thought would take to win gets overwhelmed. 2016, Donald Trump won the election in 2016. Do you think that was free and fair? I personally, I don't know. But he won. He was the president for 4 years. New York has questions. 100% has questions. I get it. But the answer, the solution is never, ever, ever staying home on election day. It's impossible. If you don't try to score points in a game, and you go through thinking that you can just win this game by scoring 0 points, you will never, ever win a game in your life. We got to get out and try. No matter how unfair you may think the elections are, no matter how much of the cyber symposium you may have watched, and hey, I've watched a little of it, and there was some stuff on there that was very interesting. No matter how long you may listen to the X22 report or listen to Sidney Powell or Lynn Wood, Lynn Wood told people in Georgia not to vote, and what happened? Lynn Wood told people in Georgia not to vote because of the voting machines, and what happened in the Senate races, and where are we now? It's all about voting. It's all about voting. You have to keep voting. You've got to vote tomorrow. Don't be discouraged from showing up. That's what they want. More of the same is not acceptable, right? That's what we said. More of the same is not acceptable. What is more of the same? The lies, the deception, the hoaxes, the fake stories. Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. I understand we're getting off of Long Island now, but we got an audience that's nationwide, folks. Glenn Youngkin in Virginia. You know how many signups? We were on Gorka, the America First podcast, and a shout out to Sebastian Gorka, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Thank you so much for having me on. It was great. And we talked about loud majority, and we talked about the library elections, and we talked about the school board and how important it is to stay involved and stay engaged locally. It's the foundation that you build on the local level that begins to translate and evolve into a statewide and then nationwide movement to take back the institutions that we have lost. And if we can't take back the institutions that we've lost, we build new institutions. You are going to see this in the schools. You are going to see this in the schools. The minute these schools start mandating vaccines across the board, kids are going to get pulled out. They didn't think they were going to see this in New York City, and you have a third of the NYPD and the fire department are out right now because of the vax mandate. A third. They didn't think they were going to see this in healthcare. And you had doctors and nurses dropping like flies, leaving their jobs because of the vaccine mandate. You didn't think it was going to be this much of an issue. And then Southwest Airlines canceled thousands of flights. American Airlines canceled thousands of flights because of gusty winds? I don't think so. It wasn't the weather. When we act together, when we act simultaneously, when we act as one, we will win. But again, it is that phrase. I don't love it so much, hold the line. But it is that phrase. It is that ideology. We've been saying it for months. Give no ground. It's the same thing. Give no ground. The minute you give the left some ground, what happens? The minute you give the left some ground, what happens? You lose that ground forever. or almost forever. It's a lot harder to get that ground back than it was when you first gave it up. Don't worry, folks. It's just 15 days to slow the spread. Put the mask on for 2 weeks and we'll be fine. It is now day, I think, 596 of 15 days to slow the spread. And it is hard to recognize the country that we are now compared to the country that we were before 15 days to slow the spread started. Two entirely different places. More of the same is not acceptable. You know that. I know that. So get out tomorrow and vote for something different. If you're a Democrat and you're watching this, vote for something different. You love the word change. You love the word hope. There is no hope on the left side of the political aisle. Those people are just hoping that you vote for them so they can continue to take more of your money. Remember, find a problem, create a program, fund the program, take money from the funding of the program. That's how government works. So think about what happened now in Virginia and what they tried to do. Glenn Youngkin, he's running for governor in Virginia against the former governor, the disgraceful Terry McAuliffe in Virginia. And Glenn Youngkin currently leads the Real Clear Politics average. The Republican candidate is currently up by a point in the Real Clear Politics average. In the last Fox News poll, he's up 8 points in Virginia. A lot of people will blast that and go, well, it's Fox News poll, it's biased. In Fox's last poll, the last time they polled it before this last output, the last results that came in, they had McAuliffe up 5. So you can take your biases, completely valid. Fox News poll, we know which way Fox News as an entity, as a channel, leans. Not so much as it used to, but we know which way it goes. Had McAuliffe up 5, their latest poll now has Youngkin up 8. Numbers across Virginia, Biden's approval rating is underwater in Virginia. The track of the country is underwater in Virginia. Virginia, to me, has been a state that has been ready to flip for some time. I thought Trump was going to flip it in 2020. And who knows? Maybe he did. I don't know. But the results that we're given every day says that's not what went on. I think Virginia flips this year. I think Democrats are disengaged in Virginia. And I think Republicans are ready to really stand up. And not even just Republicans. Article that I'm reading here has a high number of independents swinging to Glenn Youngkin. And if this indication in Virginia about independence can apply here, wow, are the Democrats in for a lot of trouble tomorrow evening when we start to see results come in. 5 key indicators turned for Glenn Youngkin's campaign in final days. I know a bunch of Long Island people are sitting here listening to Virginia news, but this is important. This is important. Understand that what's happening in Virginia, due in large part to what has been going on in Loudoun County. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but what's going on in Loudoun County revolves around education, revolves around the schools. Where are we organizing right now? Where are we taking an interest in right now? Now, we're interested in a lot of things, but me personally, I am pissed off about what is going on inside of our schools. I now get emails every day from teachers who are being brave and sending me things that they're supposed to be talking about on conference. I get emails every day now, ladies and gentlemen, and there is a lot of garbage being forced down the throats of our kids and our teachers in these public schools. Garbage. Complete and utter crap. Gender identity. Let me just start here because I'm going to take crap for it later, and I don't care. There are 2 genders, ladies and gentlemen. 2. We talked about this on Friday with Loudoun County, with the bathroom, with who goes where. There are 1, there's men. 2, there's women. There is absolutely no reason for a school district to be spending time and spending money talking about gender identity. However little Johnny Ball game or little Mary in the class, however they identify is how they identify. That's not up for everybody else to play along with. If I walked into school and said I identify as a Clydesdale and I'm going to go take a dump in the field, that's not going to fly. There are two genders, and the word gender, when we think about this, was never meant to define anybody's biological sex. The word gender was supposed to be used to define language. Think about the term El Nino, the little boy, the young boy, right? El Nino. El Nino. Those are male gendered words. Now you look at La Nina, the little girl, La Nina. Those are female gendered words. But the term gender was never supposed to be used to identify and pertain to a person's biological sex. That's why there's a term, biological sex. Your biology cannot change. No matter what surgeries you have, what you put on, what you take off, it doesn't matter. Your biology cannot change. You can change how you look. You can change how you feel. You can change how you sound. You can change everything from top to bottom, if you catch what I'm saying. But you cannot change your biological composition. It just doesn't happen. There are two genders. Why are we wasting time and money in these school districts talking about gender identity? But it's happening. It is happening. And I get emails every single day from teachers now, messages every single day from teachers, from parents, administrators, locally, outside of New York as well. Loudoun County and what they uncovered in Loudoun County, and as heartbreaking as it has been, because a girl was sexually assaulted in a bathroom by a transgender boy, as heartbreaking as that is for that family, and as disturbing as it must be for the residents of Loudoun County to find out and to be confronted with the reality that their school board and that their school district and that folks that are in there are supposed to be looking out for the welfare of their children and the welfare of the community, that those people covered it up. It's not like covering up a little bullying incident. This is a bad thing that happened in Loudoun County, folks. And if you think it's only happening in Loudoun County, you're out of your mind. This is something that people warned about when the bathroom stuff erupted. We talked about this on Friday, something that they warned about. Hey, if you let these two kind of cross paths in the bathroom, this might happen. Conspiracy theorist, racist, bigot, intolerant, white supremacist. That's what they call us for saying you pee where your biology basically says you pee. So Loudoun County and the issues that have arisen and been brought to light in Loudoun County is absolutely shaping this Virginia governor's race. If you don't think the work that we're doing in the schools is important, and I'm not saying that there are people that do feel that way. I'm saying that if you know someone who goes, I'll get involved when he's done with the schools. I got news for you. I am never going to be done with the schools until they're teaching free and fair education again. And if we have to build our own institutions, we'll build them. Because this is what is going on inside of these schools is unfair to your kids. It's predatory. It's disgusting. You saw, and I'm not just attacking education because it changes races. I'm attacking education and going after education because what's happening to the kids is unfair. They are innocent children. And yet they are being used as political pawns here to fight other people's battles. Human shields. Think about it that way. Stuff the Taliban does. Happening right here. 5 key indicators in the Glenn Youngkin race. 5 key indicators have turned into bright spots for Republican Glenn Youngkin's gubernatorial campaign in the final stretch of the Virginia race. Number 1, independent voters. The first metric is independent voters. Politico, commonly referred to by Dan Bongino as Bullshitco, leans left. And that's being generous. Politico acknowledged independent voters in Virginia are breaking for Youngkin. In 3 surveys released this week, Youngkin had a 7, 22, and 18-point lead among independents in Virginia. 7 points, 22 points, 18 points, somewhere in the middle there. Independents are breaking for Youngkin over McAuliffe. If those numbers hold, this race is not going to be close tomorrow. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, partisan voter registration does not exist. So independents in Virginia are self-designated, but still may lean Republican or Democrat. About 1/3 of registered voters identify as an independent, making polls tricky. It is likely high Republican enthusiasm may help turn the vote out among those who identify as independents, but who typically vote for Republicans. Issue number two, parents concerned about education. Hello. We just got done talking about this. Hello. Parents are the second key indicator breaking for Youngkin. Politico reported at a Fox News poll revealed Youngkin was leading his Democrat challenger by 14 points with likely voters who are parents. This is a demographic that Republicans, in particular, have had a very hard time reaching. The suburban mother, the parent. Now, all of a sudden, we're reaching them. Why? Because the Democrats and the left are imposing their will on your children. The Democrats are trying to vaccinate your kids without your consent. They're masking them up in schools when they don't need to be masked. They're teaching them anti-American education. Parents are very concerned. Number three, Joe Biden's 2020 voters. The third metric swinging toward Youngkin are 2020 Joe Biden voters. A Washington Post poll. Now, again, what sources are we citing here? Politico, Washington Post. This article came from Breitbart, but they're all getting their information from left-wing sources. And if left-wing sources are saying these things, we're in really good shape. We got to just finish the deal. Follow through. The third metric swinging towards Youngkin are 2020 Joe Biden voters. A Washington Post poll revealed McAuliffe is only winning 90% of 2020 Biden voters. Youngkin, meanwhile, is winning 99% of Republican voters and 6% of Biden voters. It should be noted President Biden only has a 43% approval rating in Virginia, according to Fox News polling, and 14% of respondents who said they voted for Biden, a small but not insignificant figure, now disapprove of Biden's performance, Politico noted. The inability of the Democrat candidate to win those who voted for Biden in 2020 could swing the state in favor of Glenn Youngkin. Number four, the Republican base. That's us, ladies and gentlemen. We're not in Virginia, but we are the Republican base of New York. And maybe we don't want to refer to ourselves as just Republicans, and that's fine. Maybe you want to refer to yourselves as conservatives. Maybe you want to refer to yourselves as patriots. Maybe you want to refer to yourselves as America. We are America, not the ruling class. The fourth metric favoring the Republican, Glenn Youngkin, is strong support among the GOP base for Youngkin. Polls show Youngkin winning virtually every Trump voter who says he or she is planning to participate next week, but his ability to bring the former president's base along while keeping Trump at arm's length, not tying directly to Trump, because if you get too close to Trump, you activate the left, is even more impressive, Politico is saying. According to the Washington Post poll, Youngkin has nearly double the lead, 61% to 33%, in rural Virginia. Youngkin's numbers in this category are far better than Trump's in 2020. Number five, Chinese coronavirus. Lastly, the issue of coronavirus has favored McAuliffe's campaign. The monthly cases of coronavirus have dropped, giving the Democrat candidate less fodder to encourage voter turnout. Virginia voters do not rank coronavirus very high on their list of concerns. Interesting. According to a post-Sharp school poll, only 10% of Virginians believe coronavirus is the top issue in the state. Education, however, ranks near the top. The what? The top. Education, ladies and gentlemen, that is the issue. How many times do I have to say it? That's where the fight is. It is in education, in your local institutions, in your local organizations, your local governmental bodies, your local representative bodies like your school board, like your fire commissioner, like your sanitation department, like your libraries. We know a lot about libraries, And we know a lot about who's not on the library in Smithtown. Brings me great joy. Not going to say the person's name because I'm tired of giving that person, tired of giving her free air. Education ranks near the top at 24%, while the economy burdened with inflation just below at 23%. Moreover, so what they're saying here is that COVID, when it's ranked higher, favors Democrats, but it's getting shuffled down towards the bottom of the list. People are over it. They're over it. And that's bad for McAuliffe. A survey on Friday from the Republican firm Echelon Insights actually gives Youngkin a 1-point lead on who is trusted more to handle COVID, Politico acknowledged. So even Youngkin is leading when it comes to COVID as well. Things don't look good for Terry McAuliffe. And what the Lincoln Project did last Friday, and of course, and Dan Bongino calls him the Lenin Project, as in Vladimir Lenin. What the Lincoln Project did last Friday was ridiculous. You may have heard about Glenn Youngkin's campaign and white supremacy. Of course you did, because everything has to do with white supremacy now, even without any evidence. It has to do with white supremacy. Even without any facts or anything concrete backing it up, you could be labeled a white supremacist any day of the week now, right? I said this on the Unfettered Patriot. Go subscribe to that podcast on the Unfettered Patriot. Dr. Cordy's Unfettered Patriot. I will be your new host of that program. That's every Tuesday. Well, I'm going to be recording it once a week, and it's going to be airing on KCBQ in San Diego, California. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached now Long Island and California. Do me a favor. Go subscribe to 2 podcasts of ours. We got We Will Not Comply right here, Long Island Loud Majority Original. And then we have Dr. Cordy's Unfettered Patriot. Look up the Unfettered Patriot on any of your podcasting platforms. I'm your new host there. And that's going to get play on California airwaves. And thank you to Dr. Cordy Williams, who's got a great announcement, big announcement coming out in 5 days. So do yourself a favor, listen to that. But I talked about this on Friday, and it aired on Saturday in California, in San Diego. I talked about this, that what the left used to do is call you a racist, and that was a terrible thing. Oh, my goodness, you can't come back from that. But they use the term so much that it means nothing now. What does it mean to be a racist now? Unfortunately, for the real victims of racism out there, because racism exists, just not systemically. Unless you live in a Democrat city, then you're living in a systemically racist city, because the Democrats are systemic racists. They always have been. They always will be. But for the real victims of racism, not Bubba Wallace, not Jussie Smollett, who faked it. Oh my God, there's a noose. Bubba, dude, you're a worse race victim than you are a NASCAR driver. That's a garage pull. Wow. You know, hey, how about win a race one of these days? Jussie Smollett, they hit me, call me MAGA. Jussie, if you wanted to do a hate crime hoax, maybe you shouldn't have written the people who attacked you a personal check to attack you. Like, are these people stupid? The answer is yes. They call you a racist over and over and over. That term now has less meaning because they keep using it. So now they're going to worse terms. They're using white supremacist. They're using the term neo-Nazi. They're using the term domestic terrorist, right? Insurrectionist. They have to use stronger terms because the other terms are so watered down and overplayed that nobody seems to care about who's called a racist anymore. So they've got to make it look really, really bad. So what did they do in Virginia? The Lincoln Project, the Vladimir Lenin Project. They're an anti-Trump group. We know that. And because Trump endorsed Glenn Youngkin, the Lenin Project thought that they would go out there and put what looked to be white supremacists at the Glenn Youngkin rally on Friday to try and scare some people away from voting for him. So what the Lenin Project did is they sent people, and I'm going to share this screen with you. Because what the Lenin Project did is they sent people with tiki torches and slacks and white t-shirts to the Glenn Youngkin rally in Virginia. Take a look at this. Let's do it this way. Take a look at this. Lincoln Project says it sent people with tiki torches to Youngkin events. So they painted this picture that there were these white supremacists and these white nationalists, and it was Charlottesville all over again. The Unite the Right rally. We got a pop-up.
The Lincoln
we got a
Project
pop
said
up.
it sent people with
Now
tiki
we got
torches
audio
to a
here. We
campaign
got to make
event
sure
held by
that stays quiet. Be quiet. Computer's got a mind of its own. Lincoln Project says it sent people with tiki torches to a campaign event held by Florida GOP gubernatorial. What is going on with these pop? We got to do something about these pop-ups. They're everywhere. Lincoln Project said it sent people with tiki torches. This is like, look, let me explain something. This is one of my problems with the internet. It used to just be find an article, read it, go home. Now, when you want to find an article and you think about reading an article, right? You're looking at it and you're thinking about reading this article about how to make your favorite dish, and it's got like pages upon pages of this person's life. So here's why I fell in love with roast beef. I don't care. I want to know how you make it. I just want to say, I don't care about your personal story. I don't care about when your sister ate it for the first time. I don't care about why. It doesn't matter what you did in 1977. Give me 1977 Star Wars. Give me the recipe and leave me the hell alone. So now we go on the Hill, and I'm just trying to read about the Lenin Project, and we got pop-ups for days. Let me just read the article. The Lincoln Project says it sent people with tiki torches to a campaign event held by Virginia GOP gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin on Friday, sparking backlash against the activist group. The anti-Trump group issued a statement saying it pulled the stunt in Charlottesville because Youngkin has not condemned the 2017 Unite the Right White Nationalist rally. Today's demonstration was our way of reminding Virginians what happened in Charlottesville 4 years ago, the Republican Party's embrace of those values and Glenn Youngkin's failure to condemn it, the statement said. It's a hoax, and they got caught. And now they're trying to say, well, we were just trying to remind you of what happened in Charlottesville in 2017. If white supremacy was a real issue in Virginia, and the last time we heard about anything of this sort happening was 2017, 4 years ago. You felt the need to bring that back? This is what I'm saying. When the left does things like this, they're not trying to be slick. They're hiding in plain sight. The left are this group of people, the left, your Antifa, your BLM, okay? You're talking about your radical socialists. These people are the white supremacists. These people are the white nationalists. These people are the systemic racists, the people who want to hold minority communities down, the people who only want to see success among whites. It's them. So when they send people dressed in white T-shirts and slacks and have tiki torches, they're in their natural habitat. Don't you understand this? It's not hard for them to find people to do that. Oh, you want to go dress up like a white supremacist? Haha, happy Halloween. They are white supremacists. They are white supremacists. This is who they are. Get used to it. Brand it that way. The left are a bunch of racists. The left, the socialist wing of the Democrat Party, are a bunch of racists. They are the white nationalists. They are the white supremacists. The party whose members founded the KKK. The party whose members filibustered the Civil Rights Act. The party whose members fought to preserve slavery. The party whose members created sharecropping. The party whose members run the most systemically racist cities from coast to coast. These people are the white supremacists. These people are the white nationalists. These people are the fascists. They are the neo-Nazis. They are the people holding minorities back in the United States of America. It is not you. It is not me. It is not Donald Trump. It is not Glenn Youngkin. It is not Ron DeSantis. It is you, the Democrat liberal activist, you, the socialist, you, the Lincoln Project. That is who is holding back minorities in this country. And all they are doing with stunts like the Youngkin thing are trying to project their own racism on other people. Hands down, period, end of story, and the discussion is over. Right there. Right there. And it is time for us to call it out. You want to call me a racist with no evidence? I'm going to call you a racist with evidence. How do you know I'm a racist? Because you showed up to a political rally with tiki torches, slacks, and a white t-shirt. That's apparently all it takes these days. I am fired up about that. I am. Sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. But do you understand that that is what is going on? So the Lincoln Project, when we look at the Lincoln Project and what they did, Youngkin came out and said they'll do anything to win, and he's doing anything to win. And so he's paying people to show up and act silly at our rallies. They took a picture in front of the bus. They had their whole thing. Here we go. McAuliffe's campaign. What happened today in Charlottesville is disgusting and distasteful, and the McAuliffe campaign condemns it in the strongest terms. McAuliffe campaign manager Chris Bowling tweeted, "Those involved should immediately apologize." The Virginia Democratic Party said it did not have any role in Friday's event and said it was shameful and wrong to make any such allegations. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. So either the Lincoln Project made complete asses of themselves, which they do on a daily basis, or they colluded with the Virginia Democrat Party, or somewhere in the middle. One thing we know is for sure, and don't let this point be lost, Glenn Youngkin had nothing to do with those people showing up at his rally on Friday. Nothing. He is not a racist. He is not a white supremacist. He is not a Nazi. He is not a candidate like that. He had nothing to do with it. Make sure that that's what you take away from that story. If you're watching in Virginia, Joe and Elaine Thomas, WCHV in Charlottesville, we know it. We love them. If you're watching in Virginia, we make sure that that's the message that's getting out. Youngkin had nothing to do with it. Now let's go win this damn thing tomorrow in Virginia and flip it. Because who knows? If it happens in Virginia, it may happen in New Jersey too. But even if that Jersey race is tighter than the 10 or 15-point window that it was originally supposed to be, even if it's tighter, like 3 points, 4 points, you could feel the awakening. It's coming. You could feel it. And I'm excited for it. Another Anthony Fauci lie. I'm going to touch on this quickly, and then we're going to end with an interesting story as well. Anthony Fauci lied. Funding to EcoHealth Alliance was always for gain of function. Are you shocked at this? Are you shocked? Anybody shocked when I say the words Anthony Fauci lied? Is anybody in the world shocked at all about this situation? Anybody ever? What? He lied? Anthony Fauci? What? He's never lied a day in his life. Yeah. Okay. So Anthony Fauci lied again. This will be in the show notes. Loudmajorityus.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You get the show notes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. As soon as everything gets uploaded, we email out the links so you can have the information. You can have the links. You can screenshot them. You can bookmark them so that when your liberal friends try to say stupid things, if you come across a liberal later and they're like, well, you know, that candidate in Virginia, he's a real racist, that Glenn Youngkin. And you go, wait a second. Whoa. Hold on a second, liberal friend. You know, I was listening to the We Will Not Comply podcast this morning, and I got their show notes, right? And I looked it up. Whoa, look at this. And it was actually the Lincoln Project, a.k.a. the Lenin Project, who likes to push for anti-Trump and Democrat candidates. The Lenin Project supported Joe Biden in 2020. And you can show your liberal friends, hey, check this out. So let's go back. So remember to sign up for the show at loudmajorityus.com. We email you the show notes. You can bookmark them. You'll have them in your email every single day. And check your spam. They play games with us. Check your spam inboxes, please, for the show notes. So sign up for the newsletter, loudmajorityus.com. Anthony Fauci has stated that the EcoHealth Alliance grant was not for gain-of-function research. A comparison to other similar research conducted and labeled as gain-of-function shows that the two types of research are identical and Fauci's claims are untrue, which makes me excited for this once more. Dr. Fauci, you testified in front of Congress and did not tell the truth. Rand Paul. I can't wait for Rand Paul to come in here and question Dr. Fauci again. You lied to the American people. You are responsible for a global pandemic now, and you are not telling the truth. The gain-of-function research that was forwarded to the Wuhan lab could have resulted in I'm going to stop with Rand Paul because I'm not there yet. Senator Paul, you have no idea what you are talking about. Raspy Fauci. But if you've been following my reporting, and this is from Red State, following my reporting on the origins of COVID-19, you'll already know the name EcoHealth Alliance. For those that don't, EcoHealth Alliance is a nonprofit based in New York, tough. Cuomo's getting arrested this week, by the way, which has been conducting research on global pandemics and has been seeking to identify places where pandemics are likely to start, as well as viruses that may be likely to ignite those pandemics. To be frank, their goal is a reasonable and lofty one, so they're trying to forecast where the pandemics come from. Okay. However, it is their methodology that I question. as well as their actions in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. EcoHealth Alliance has been around for several decades. However, the present iteration under that name has only been in existence since 2010. In 2014, the group was awarded a grant from the National Institutes of Health, that's the NIH, Fauci, to study bat coronavirus emergence risk, especially the risk associated with these viruses in China. We're talking about China. Watching it and we're looking at it. They were looking at China. Why would they be looking at China? Because they have the Wuhan Institute of Virology and they have a very big bat population in China. Okay. Understanding the risk of bat coronavirus emergence, novel zoonotic bat origin coronaviruses are a significant threat to global health and food security as the cause of SARS in China of 2002, the outbreak of MERS, and a newly emerged swine acute diarrhea syndrome in China. In a previous R01, I don't know what that means, funded research, we found that bats in southern China harbor an extraordinary diversity of SARS coronaviruses, some of which can cause can use human ACE2, that's the receptor that COVID uses, to enter cells, infect humanized mouse models causing SARS-like illnesses, and evade available therapies or vaccines. Interesting. We found that people living close to bat habitats are the primary risk groups for spillover, that at one site, diverse SARS coronaviruses exist that contain every genetic element of the SARS-CoV genome, and identified serological evidence of human exposure among people living nearby. Well, a lot of that sounds like word soup to some of you. Let's break it down and take a look at what they are saying. To start by saying that in a previous research project, they identified bat coronaviruses that were similar to SARS, that's secure acute respiratory syndrome, that can infect the ACE2 receptors in human cells by causing SARS-like illness. The research they are discussing and what is authorized by this grant is for research on natural zoonotic viruses, meaning those found in nature that can jump to humans either directly or through an intermediate host, jumping from bats to another animal to humans. They found that the population at the greatest risk were people who lived close to bat habitats. As for their aims, I will try to, the writer's going to try and simplify it. Aim number one, they were looking to analyze the natural viruses in the area, collect additional samples if necessary, and genetically analyze the different types of natural viruses to understand which of them could infect humans and which of them were not at risk for doing so. So they had a big swath of viruses, and they said, these are the ones that can affect humans, and these are the ones that can't. So we're going to focus on the ones that can infect humans. Aim two, they were to analyze where any spillover, bat to human infection, events were likely to occur and assess the public health consequences of potential infections for SARS viruses. Thus far, it all seems pretty straightforward and doesn't have any red flags. Now, remember, the grant has stated several times it is only to study natural viruses. Very important to remember that. Fauci has been adamant that this funding was only for natural viruses. The problem with that is the research described in aim number 3 steps way beyond natural viruses. Here we go. We will use S protein, spike protein, sequence data, infectious clone technology, in vitro and in vivo infection experiments, and analysis of receptor binding to test the hypothesis that the percentage of divergence thresholds in S protein sequences predict spillover potential. Now, while most of this seems nebulous, there's something you should know. If you were going to create a virus like SARS-CoV-2, that would be COVID. This is the exact type of research you would have to conduct to map how to do so. But while Dr. Fauci and EcoHealth Alliance would like to tell you that this isn't gain-of-function research, it isn't hard to find out whether or not it was, because the NIH has funded this type of research previously. The same study from yesterday's article is pretty clear about EcoHealth's supposed research. It was no secret in the 2015 study that the research they were conducting was gain-of-function research. In fact, the authors of the study not only confirmed that it was gain-of-function, but go on to explain even more about the risk of that research and what it posed. Together, this is from them. These data and restrictions, the U.S. ban on gain-of-function research, represent a crossroads of gain-of-function research concerns. The potential to prepare for and mitigate future outbreaks must be weighed against the risk of creating more dangerous pathogens. In developing policies moving forward, it is important to consider the value of the data generated by these studies and whether these types of chimeric virus studies warrant further investigation versus the inherent risks involved. These two experiments that they were doing EcoHealth, one that they call gain of function and one that they say is not gain of function, were the exact same type of research. And I encourage you to read this Red State article. Fauci is lying again. And now we have another article from townhall.com that the FBI, the wonderful FBI, though, has moderate confidence in the lab leak theory following the 90-day review. So now that means that the FBI must be a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Now, the higher-ups at the FBI definitely believe in conspiracies because they're the ones who passed off the PP dossier as real. They're the ones who believe that a Lego playset of the Lego playset of the U.S. Capitol was responsible for the February 30th attack on the U.S. Capitol. We don't say the real date, the date between January 5th and January 7th, because that gets people all crazy. But even the FBI now is coming forward and saying, hey, we now have even more confidence that this thing came from a lab. I'll attach this town hall article in the show notes as well. I know that was a lot. That was a lot of dense information. So how are we doing out there in the chat? And let's look up. Let me ask you a question, and let me one more time make this point before we get to our last story of the day and we sign off for the day. Let me again make this one more point, right? Do you remember the beginning of the pandemic when 15 days to slow the spread started? Do you remember what everybody was saying, where this came from? Bat soup. Someone ate a bat and this evolved. And then they said, don't say it came from China. That's racist. Don't say it came from China. You're going to spark this wave of anti-Asian hate crimes across the United States. Do you remember that? What do you think is more likely to spark hate crimes against a particular culture? Saying that a virus came from China and may have leaked from a lab, or pointing at a cultural habit that the Chinese and some folks over there have, okay? They eat bats. They live near bats. Some of them eat bats. Listen, you pointed to a bowl of bat soup and said, here's an element of Chinese culture that may have caused this pandemic. And then you had the nerve to come to me and tell me I was racist for saying it may have come from Wuhan. They took a part of Chinese culture. They did. They said, you know what? If these are bat viruses, maybe it's because all those people do is eat bats over in China. And push that as the main theory. It was an attack on Chinese culture from the beginning. The left has been coming for the Asian community for a while. There are caps now with regards to how many Asians are allowed to enter college and schools, because Asians are overachievers. They tend to score higher on tests. They tend to graduate with a higher GPA. You know, it's like the left are saying we can't count Asians as minorities because they're too white. Again, you tell me who the racists are. Is it me? Is it us? Is it the people who say, you know, why don't we say that this thing came from Wuhan? It may have leaked from the lab. That's racist. That's a conspiracy theory. But by pointing to a bowl of bat soup, Chinese chicken noodle soup, possibilities, right? When you point to a bowl of bat soup and you say, hey, look, there's an element of Chinese culture that we can blame this thing on, that's going to cause the cultural discrimination that you're so afraid of. It's disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. It's disgusting, and the projection off of that on us to make us look like the bad people is just as bad. So let's talk about somebody who's very guilty of projecting themselves on us. FoxNews.com. John Brown of Fox News. It is Peppermint Patty. Jen Psaki. Peppermint Patty. Pippi Longstocking. Ain't no holla back girl. Ain't no circle back girl, actually. It is Peppermint Patty. Did you guys hear what happened to Peppermint Patty? I wish her well. Did you guys hear what happened to Peppermint Patty? Anybody in the chat find out what happened to Pippi Longstocking over there? Anybody here aware of the news surrounding Jen Psaki, the circle back girl? Anybody here aware of it? Because we're going to get to it right now. Unfortunately, and I'm saying unfortunately because I don't want to see people hurt, Jen Psaki has tested positive for COVID-19. Jen Psaki has tested positive for COVID-19. This is not a victory lap. This is not a laugh. This is not a ha-ha. This is just showing you more of the same. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Sunday she has tested positive for COVID-19 despite being fully vaccinated. On Wednesday, in coordination with senior leadership at the White House and the medical team, I made the decision not to travel on the foreign trip with the president due to a family emergency, which was members of my household testing positive for COVID. The White House said President Biden tested negative for the virus. Psaki said she tested negative via PCR on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. However, today I tested positive for COVID. While I have not had close contact in person with the president or senior members of the White House staff since Wednesday and tested negative for 4 days after that last contact, I am disclosing today's positive test out of an abundance of transparency. I last saw the president on Tuesday, so she's talking about all of these different things, that she saw Biden and when she had contact with Biden and et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is the queen of the vaccine, Jen Psaki, ain't no holla back, ain't no circle back girl, has tested positive for COVID-19. I'm not happy about it. I don't think it's funny. I'm not going to take a victory lap. I'm just reporting the news, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching this all over the place happen. You're watching, and it's okay. Look, I got COVID. It's okay to get the virus. I'm not going to put you down because you got COVID. Oh, you got COVID. You suck. No, it happens. This virus is very contagious, more contagious than like any other virus that we've seen. The R0 is like 5. One person infects 5 people. For comparison, I think the flu is like 1.5. It's not a victory lap. It's not dunking on Jen Psaki. I'm not happy. I hope she gets through it. I hope her family gets through it. I hope everybody winds up. You understand that? I hope everybody survives. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's healthy. I hope everybody's safe. As intolerable as she is in front of a microphone, as intolerable as she is as the press secretary, I don't want to see bad things happen to people. That's not who I am. That's what makes us different from the left. I remember when Trump got COVID last year, they were like, I hope he dies. It's not who we are. I don't do that. And now we're entering an era now where when you get yourself on your vaccine schedule, your booster schedule, that the people with 6 shots are soon going to be calling the people with 5 shots selfish. Get ready. There's a whole new brand of crazy coming. There's a whole new brand of crazy coming. Jen Psaki, I wish you the best. I really do. I'm not being silly. I'm not being facetious. I wish you the best. You had Biden with the Pope over the weekend, shaking hands, talking, chatting, no mask. These are 2 at-risk elderly men. And they're not masked up. They're not following. Rules are for thee, not for me. Rules are for thee, not for me. Jen Psaki, I wish you well. Pippi Longstocking, ain't no circle back girl. Peppermint Patty. Chucky. Chucky's a good one. She looks like Chucky. As much as we love to make fun of her, I hope she gets through this okay. Because you know what? We also need the comedy at the podium as the press secretary too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for enduring the no sound issue for the first couple minutes of the show. I'm glad it got fixed. It is 8 a.m. It is time to be on our merry way. Thanks again for watching. The viewership has gone through the roof. Do us a favor. Please do us a favor because we're getting shadow banned and censored everywhere. Share this show. If there's 188 of you watching right now between YouTube and Facebook, if all of you just share it once, that would do unbelievable things for us. Subscribe to the podcast. We will not comply on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Go to our website, officialloudmajority.com, officialloudmajority.com, or loudmajorityus.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You get your show notes every day. Check your spam folders. I have a feeling there's funny business being played there. Do yourselves a favor and also subscribe to the Unfettered Patriot, Dr. Cordy's Unfettered Patriot. That's another show that I'm going to be running. So do yourselves a favor, subscribe to that. That'll be fun. That's out in California. Let's blow up their users. Let's blow up their viewership numbers as well, their listenership numbers as well. Let's all get behind it for the same cause. And Dr. Cordy, who's giving me the opportunity to do this, has a big announcement on November 6th coming, and we're going to help him every way he can as well. And hopefully, within the next couple months, we actually get to see Dr. Cordy maybe coming out here. So we'll see what happens. Share the show. Sign up for the newsletter. And please, tomorrow, if you haven't voted already, tomorrow is election day. Local elections matter. We must vote no on the back of the ballots. Again, vote no on Proposition 1, 3, and 4. In Suffolk County, you're voting for Ray Tierney. District 7 for legislator Dominic Thorne. All right, Ray Tierney for DA. Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman, Ann Donnelly. And down the line over there, let's make sure, let's have a big win tomorrow. Hey, we may not win everything, but let's have some big wins tomorrow. We'll be excited to share the festivities and the joy with you if we do come out on top, and I'm very confident in that. Ladies and gentlemen, in the face, and by the way, before we go, shout out to the new greatest of all time, Mike White, the quarterback of the New York Jets, because he passed for 400 yards yesterday. The first time a Jet quarterback has passed for 400 yards in a game since 2000, Christmas Eve. Vinny Testaverde. So shout out to Mike White. Mike White. We were chanting that in the stands yesterday, as well as a little bit of Let's Go Brandon in the section. A couple kids from Bengals fans were like, let's go Brandon. I was like, really? Yeah. And to the person who saw me in the Meadowlands yesterday was like, you're the rally guy. Yes, that's me. But I was very tired and I had to go down to the car. I was shot last night. So good job by Mike White. Shout out to Mike White, the future, the greatest of all time. I don't know. He's played one game. Let's see what happens, right? But in the face of intentional race hoaxes, in the face of record inflation, in the face of gas prices going through the roof, okay, in the face of a lying director of the National Institutes of Health, in the face of what looks to be a senile old man at the helm of our country, and in the face of the intentional destruction of the United States of America, we repeat these 4 words over and over and over again from every mountaintop, rooftop, soapbox, street corner, social media, every podcast. We repeat this over and over and over until the people in power finally either get it or get out of our way. We will not comply. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and being a part of it this morning. I look forward to talking with you again. We'll be back on Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., same place, same time. Until then, my wonderful Patriot friends, until then, stop complying and stay loud.